Hi, it's Michael here from the Oilers Live channel of podcasts. I just want to introduce you to a couple of changes we've got this year on the podcast, plus make a couple of quick announcements. It's kind of like a trailer for those of you listeners that are out there. And also, I want to welcome you to the second season on the Oilers Live channel, which includes the Heavy Hockey podcast, which is new. I'll talk about that. The Oilers Live broadcast. And of course, Late Night with the OilKnight. And that one features Dirtbag Donny. You're going to notice a few differences. First, if you're only listening right now, every episode of the Heavy Hockey podcast and the Oilers Live broadcast will include a video stream. I assume they'll get a lot better as we go, but for now, it might just be you watching me or my guests talk. I hope to make them a little bit more interactive, especially during the live episodes. Also, I'd like to bring your attention to something that's going on December 9th at 2 p.m. at the Downtown Community Arena in Edmonton. We are hosting the first ever Oilers Live Cup. Now, lots of spectators. We are, as of recording right now, we're at about 50, just about 50 spectators and players. We've got 6 spots only remaining. So that's December 9th, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. If you don't know how to reach me on Twitter at Oilers Live. DM me. There is an Eventbrite registration. It's the Oilers Live Cup. No registration fee. Donations are going to be accepted. This week, I hope to announce our charity partner, which is a little bit special to those of us in Oilers Twitter land. So please stay tuned for that. And if you're listening, also retweet all the tweets and the registration links. The more, the merrier. As you know, Oilers Twitter fans are fantastic. So let's get most of you out there. And before we start, let's have our new theme music for Heavy Hockey Podcast.
From Section 204, Heavy Hockey Podcast with Michael and guests. Heavy hockey isn't dead, it's just getting started.
And now, let's talk about a couple of the podcast changes you might notice. First, as you know, Sean Patrick Ryan, or SPR, or the OilKnight, added his podcast to the Oilers Live channel last season. He's going to continue. It's definitely an edgier podcast. He's got Dirtbag Donny on there, and if you haven't listened to them yet, you really should. They're hilarious, and while SPR and Donny both know hockey quite well, they're also quite entertaining. They've got a diverse group of let's call them call-in guests that join the show from time to time. Anyway, it's always good for a laugh, and they're going to continue to do those. I imagine roughly weekly is what they've been at right now, but they are incredibly entertaining. Second, you just heard the theme music. The Heavy Hockey Podcast made its debut with Jack Michaels as my first guest. Now, the audio wasn't great, which is too bad, but, we're going to start that one. It is, in effect, the replacement for the Oilers Live podcast last year. Because of the new format in calling it the Oilers Live channel and then having the live broadcast, this will be my home for my mostly weekly recorded broadcast with guests and fans and other podcasters around the league or other media around the league, just to talk about Oilers hockey and or what's going on in the league. So that's the Heavy Hockey Podcast. Watch for those. We've done episode 1 already. And if you want to be a guest on that show, please send me a direct message on Twitter. I've already got lots of guests lined up, but I'd love to have more lined up. And then last, of course, we're going to be hosting an almost weekly live broadcast this year. So we're going to stream it live with the ability for you to interact with myself and whatever guests I have on. So it's going to be a lot like the regular format for the podcast, but we're going to have a call-in segment. So if you've been on any of my live broadcasts before, you can call in. We've got a screener. You can have some fun, listen while you're waiting to get online, and then there's going to be lots of other interactive ways you can interact on Twitter. I'm going to be streaming the video live on YouTube and Twitter, so you can use Facebook chat as well if you want to interact. It's going to be 100% live. Well, actually, probably about 99% live, because there's going to be a 2 or 4 second delay. So right now, no set timetable, but I am hoping to stick with the Thursdays at 10 p.m. timetable when we get started. And if there is a game on Thursdays, we're going to push that back as far as we need to before we start. So get ready to call in on that and have some fun. Some other changes that you might want to be aware of. First off, subscribe. So we are available pretty much everywhere now. The video, of course, video broadcasting now, which we'll do, will be available on Twitch, Tumblr, YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere you subscribe to podcasts. But subscribe. So we want your listen, and of course your subscriptions help with that. Gets us to the top of the pile. And whatever your social poison is or favorite podcast player, subscribe. And best way to reach me is through Twitter. So go to Twitter at OilersLive, or now at Heavy Hockey Pod are two. You can get Sean or SPR at the OilKnight, and Dirtbag Donny at Dirtbag Donny. Happy to have you. I just want to say a special thanks to my regular guests, Eric Friesen, and Beer League Heroes Kelly. We had some great guests this year, Shane Sanders, Paige, everybody for season 1 that made it a great success. Again, if you haven't registered for the December 9th Oilers Live Cup, please do. The charity announcement will come this week, and we're going to be really happy to have you. So please tune in as often as you can this year. Lots of exciting changes. It's just going to get better as I learn how to broadcast a little bit better and have some fun with this. So see you next time. Have a listen and subscribe to the Oilers Live channel.
From Section 204, Heavy Hockey Podcast with Michael and Guess. Heavy hockey isn't dead. It's just getting started.